Hi, welcome to a gentle yoga practice. My name's Kaylee. You don't need any equipment for this class. When you're ready, you can meet me. Let's actually start in this kind of upright, it's called upright deer, actually, in this kind of gentle hip opener stretch once Sasha removes herself from the screen. You'll bring both of your knees to point over to the right side of your space. Well, I guess the left knee is not quite pointing to the right, but both of the knees are going to angle rightwards, if you will. You're welcome to bring your hands back behind you to open up a little bit through the front side of that left hip. And we'll just be here settling into whatever's arising in your body, whatever's been going on in your morning or your day, depending on when you're practicing. Let's see if you can maybe soften or close your eyes down. And then just very gently begin to deepen your inhales and lengthen your exhales. If your hands are back behind you, go ahead and shift them forward and over outside of your right knee. So let's frame the right knee. It's totally okay for that left hip to start to rotate upward. We're going to roll that left side of the butt up off of the floor or the mat as you rotate toward the right for a little twist. And you can start to walk the hands a little bit further forward if that feels comfortable. There might be a stopping point somewhere between upright and here. You might also feel very comfortable working your way all the way down onto your forearms. If that's the case, you can let the head float free, or you can stack your fists to make a little pillow for your forehead. And then just notice how the stretch changes when you're in this kind of forward folded position versus that upright position. As soon as you land, come right back to a connection with your breath. And allowing the inhales to deepen, breathe in to where you feel the sensation, maybe in your lower back or your hips. And lengthen your exhales, allowing some of the tension that might be there. Let it just bubble up and out as you empty the breath. Deep inhales, breathe toward the sensation. You're practicing with pets, you might get a little extra affection. Long exhales, letting some of that tension bubble away. And start to lift yourself back into that upright variation of this shape. Bring both of your hands back behind you. And then we're just going to toggle the knees side to side here. So give yourself some room. We're not going to hold any of these shapes for a super long amount of time today, but we'll linger in them for long enough, hopefully, that you can notice sensations shift. So they might become more intense over the duration, and they might also kind of become a little bit easier. The body might relax into them. Just notice. Let your knees drift over to the left, and then let's find that upright position for a moment. And take a couple breaths into it. Hands can be behind you, or you might even bring your hands onto your thighs or your knees. Notice if you're holding tension around your jaw, see if you can relax your lips, your tongue, your mouth. And then we'll start to work the hands to frame the left knee. Right hip peels away from the floor. And start to walk the hands forward just until you feel kind of a sweet spot in that stretch. Over time, again, you might notice that the shape begins to feel more intense, right? The sensation can build. Breathe into it. You might also notice that your body maybe opens up a little bit. Some of those areas that were tight or sticky might soften. If that's the case and you feel like your body's inviting you to drop a little bit deeper into that forward fold, you can find those adjustments, let yourself kind of go with your own flow here, go with your own breath, creating a pillow for your forehead if it makes sense. If you can allow your breath, your prana, to move a little bit lower down into your body, can you breathe down into the bottom of your lungs? Feel the bottom of your rib cage expand to the sides and even into the back. And as you exhale, just letting tension melt, noticing if you're gripping around the ankles or the brow. You invite some softness into those places where we habitually tense up. And start to work your way back into that upright variation. We'll take a couple rounds of those windshield wiper knees, just toggling the knees side to side. Go nice and slow. Maybe you move your chin the opposite direction of the knees. So it's kind of like a little easy twisting, rotational motion in the hips and the neck. And then from here, we're going to work our way onto our bellies for Sphinx pose. So you'll lay all the way down, straighten your legs out back behind you, and then prop yourself up onto your forearms or your elbows. You can separate your feet a little bit wider. It might feel nice to give the lower back some space and maybe wiggle around through the hips for a moment here before you drop into some stillness. Let your nose point straight forward to start. Let your belly really soften and get heavy into the floor underneath you. And just notice if you can breathe into the sensations in your spine. You might feel a lot of compression going on in the lower back. Breathe into it. See if you can feel a sense of spaciousness just with your breath. Stay in your Sphinx pose. You can keep the eyes really soft, or maybe even keep them closed down and just use the verbal cues here. Keep your nose level, but tip your chin. So rotate your neck rather, so that you're looking all the way over to the left. Notice your right shoulder. Can you keep it gently dragging down onto the back side of your ribs? So if that right shoulder is kind of creeping up toward your ear, go ahead and pull it gently back and down. Keep the nose level. Take a breath in. I'm going to exhale right back through the center. Stay in the center, but start to tip the nose upwards. So lift your chin, open the front of the throat, breathe in. And then nod the chin back down toward the chest. Keep your spine extended except for the neck. So we're kind of flexing the neck, but the rest of the back is extended. Come back to the center. And then nose stays level as you rotate over to the right. And again, do that little check-in with your left shoulder blade. It's really common for the body to want to pull your left shoulder up to help you rotate the neck further. And see if you can be content with a little bit less rotation so that you can keep that left shoulder blade relaxed down onto the back of your ribs. Take another long inhale, feeling into the stretch in the left side of your neck and your jaw. And then exhale back through the center. Blink your eyes open this time as you lift your chin up, big stretch to the front of the neck, and then lower all the way down. So you can make a little pillow for your forehead by stacking your forearms, or you can reach your arms out in front of you and drop the forehead straight down. And just feel into the rebound sensation as your lower back spreads back open. Bring your feet a little closer together if they're not. Keep looking down at the top of the mat. You're gonna pull the arms back by your sides, bend your elbows to create like a W shape, and then press the hip bones and the pubic bone down toward the floor. So feel the muscles in your back start to light up a little bit. We're gonna reach the arms forward, take a breath in, maybe you tip and tap your nose to the mat, and then exhale, do that movement again, pull the arms back. Couple more. Inhale as you reach the arms forward, tap your nose to your mat. Exhale, lift up a little bit and pull the elbows back. 2 more times. Breathe in. And breathe out. Once more. Nice long inhale. And exhale as you lift, lift, lift. Release the hands. Take a child's pose. Use your hips back towards your heels. Maybe slow transition there. I'm gonna go with a narrow knee child's pose, but do what feels best in your body. In child's pose, might feel good to broaden your arms out to like a Y shape here. And then nod the head slowly, like shaking your head out slowly, no, massaging out across the top of your brow from temple to temple as you release any tension in the base of the skull, the back of the neck. On an inhale, slide forward through your hands and your knees. And let's tuck the toes under. We're gonna find downward facing dog. This is the most active shape that we're gonna do today. Check in with your down dog. It might feel good to pedal it out a little bit. Sometimes we say this kind of garbage cue in yoga that down dog is a resting pose. And I like to think of down dog as a reset pose. So it's not so much rest. There's a lot that's going on here as you press into your hands. Maybe you feel the muscles in your back and your arms light up. So you push into the balls of the feet. You're getting a big stretch for the calves and the back of your thighs. Bring the right knee forward for pigeon pose. Bringing that right knee right inside of your right wrist or your right thumb. Left leg's gonna lengthen out back behind you. Stay lifted for a few breaths as you kind of negotiate your hips here. You get a nice little back bend, some extension in the lower back, and maybe even in the chest as well. Pull the crown of your head away from your sternum. Stay here, or reach just your left arm up. Reach that left arm at an angle from your left hip crease. So it's like one long kind of curve. And you can start to reach that left arm back in space. Bend your left elbow so that that left thumb comes down toward your shoulder blade. And then start to point that left elbow up, up, up. Keep pushing into the top of your left foot. Pull the left hip point forward and breathe. And we're slowly going to release that left arm up first, and then down to the mat. Maybe you start to crawl the arms forward and settle into like a sleeping swan, sleeping pigeon pose. Stay here for about 30 seconds. Just tune into the sensations again of your breath. And see if you can breathe toward where you feel the stretch. Stay connected to your breath as you start to lift yourself back up. Let's tuck the left toes under, press the hands down under your shoulders, get strong in your arms, lift the left knee, get strong in your legs. And then let's lift the hips, keep the right knee bent for a moment. We're gonna bring that bent right knee back as you take a three-legged dog. Keep bending the knee, open up through your right hip. You can stay here or circle your right ankle, wiggle your toes, maybe circle your right knee around a few times to rinse out that hip socket. Go both directions if you're taking those circles. And then find a downward facing dog, reset, take a big breath in through your nose. Option to open your mouth for your exhale to release your jaw. Let's bring that left knee forward for swan. So it's like our pigeon, but we stay lifted. Take some time to kind of wiggle around through the hips. Lengthen out your right leg and foot back behind you. And make sure your hands or your fingertips, I like fingertips, feel firm. And start to pull that right hip point forward as you push into the top of the right foot. Right arm reaches forward and then upward. And with your mind's eye, trace that long line of energy as if you could breathe into your right big toe, all the way up the right leg, into the right arm. And keep reaching that right arm up, up, up. Stay there or bend your right elbow, bringing the right thumb somewhere around the top of the shoulder blade or maybe the base of the neck there. Inner thighs are gently hugging toward each other, so you feel that supportive base. And stay with the breath, stay with that flow of prana as you reach the right arm first upward, forward, and then down as you start to crawl your way into your sleeping swan. Let the hips soften once you find your version of this stretch. And then just again, so the theme in this practice, as well as in our lives, is to breathe in to reality. So the sensations in your body, whatever's happening in real time for you right here, can you breathe into it a little bit? Give it space. You can always make adjustments so that you feel safe, so that the stretch feels like it's in that Goldilocks zone where it's doing you a lot of good and not costing you any risk of injury. Just keep breathing into reality, into the sensations, into the circumstances. And start to lift yourself up. Hands come under shoulders, right toes tuck under, push into your hands. Maybe even tuck the chin toward your chest a little bit to start to contain some of that energy in your core. Right knee lifts, hips lift. Pull that left leg up with a bent knee and then open up through the hips here. Option to take some circles with the ankle or some circles with the knee. Switch the direction of any rotational movement that you're making. And then downward facing dog. Stay here, take one more cleansing breath in, fill all the way up, little pause at the top. And then open your mouth, let it go. Look forward, walk your feet forward, bend your knees, sit down onto your butt. Straighten your legs out long in front of you. Reach the arms up toward the ceiling, root down through your sit bones. Flex your feet pretty firm to start, and then let's lean forward. So flat back, lean forward, and then come right back up again. Do that again. Flat back, lower abdominals are pulling inward, and then come back up. So one more time, lean forward, this time pause. Release your hands and then drop into that forward fold as you relax your feet. You might even turn your palms to face upward. The knees could have a big bend in them. You might even bring your forearms underneath your knees to create a little prop. If your head is free here, sometimes it feels good to give the chin another little nod. Make sure there's space between your teeth. You could open your mouth and move the hinges of the jaw around a bit. Relax your temples, your scalp. Start to lift your head up, walk the fingers back by your hips, and then lift up. We're gonna work our way all the way onto our backs. We'll finish with hammock pose. So you'll land with your knees bent again. Bring your arms to a cactus, a goalpost, or a T shape. And then toggle your knees slowly from side to side. Just like we did before in a seated position. You have the option to nod your chin in the opposite direction and the knees go slower than you think you need to. And gradually, like inch by inch, degree by degree, we'll work into Shavasana. So you can start to walk your feet a little farther away from your body. Slow down the toggling or the rotation until you can land in Shavasana. Releasing your arms down by your side with your palms face up. Let your feet splay open. And tuck the chin just like an eighth of an inch to the chest. And then lower the back of the head back down, keeping that length in the back of the neck. Allow the body to get heavy. Let the bones get heavy. Let the muscles melt away from the bones. Allow yourself to rest. Allow all the joints to open, the blood vessels, the lines of energy. Just staying here and accepting this moment, this pause for a little rest, relaxation, and restoration to really sink in. And listen for my voice in just about a minute to end our practice. Stay here just a moment longer as you bring your thumb and rub the thumb over the tips of your other fingers. You can feel the fingertips or the texture of them. Start to nod the head again side to side. Maybe you point your toes or rotate your ankles. Whatever way makes the most sense for you. Ease yourself from your back to a seat. Once you're upright, we'll finish with one more cleansing breath. So release your arms down and out to your side with your palms facing up. As you inhale, stretch the arms out wide and then overhead. Keep breathing in. When you get to the top, sip in a little bit more breath. And then let it go. Namaste. Thank you for sharing some of your time, some of your energy. Take good care of yourself, and I hope to see you again soon.